Gym leaders in charge of testing every trainer who wants to make it to the top, as well as actively looking out for the people of their city. In a way, they are like the sheriffs of the Pokemon world, but who is in charge of checking that they are really up to the task? Who watches the watchman? Well, in fact, there is someone that does that in the Pokemon world. A select group dedicated to conducting surprise inspections of leaders, ensuring that they meet the expectation that would be expected of them. It's called the Pokemon Research Agency, made up of none other than nurses. Joy? Sounds like an interesting work environment. So, today I'll be stepping into the shoes of a new member of the agency, and to earn the job, I'll be going region by region, picking the worst leader in each one. The first inspection, of course, took me to Kanto. The leaders here have great fame and popularity in the Pokemon world as absolute pioneers of the figure, an inspiration for promising trainers around the world that dream of having their own gyms. But the impression I got from many of them is that they're actually quite terrible at their job. The gang that threatens the region has a casino in your city as its main hideout, and to top it off, it's dedicated to trafficking and offering poached Pokemon as prizes, and instead of going to stop them, you take a nap? Let's see who is that incompetent. I'm gonna teach them a lesson. Well, it's all right, but try harder next time, okay? In fact, it doesn't stop there. It's not just that they set up an illegal lair in the middle of the city. Literally, it's that they kidnapped the president of the largest corporation in the world, and you do nothing. She even has a great reputation as a psychic with premonitory powers, which surely made you see the situation months ago, and is perfectly capable of destroying them easily. Look, I partly understand you. Screw those exploitative pigs and their monopoly, but at least do it for the poor employees. Or rather for this guy and his Lapras. A Lapras is a hostage. Do you have no heart? Wait a second. The leader of that gang is also a gym leader, and this one is making me look for switches in the trash. Please, what's wrong with this region? Anyway, during my time in Kanto, it became clear to me to what extent their leaders are glorified. Barely a couple take their job somehow seriously, but I can only revoke one license, and holy moly. I've seen nonsense, but this man is on another level. From the start, you can't even enter his gym because it's closed from the inside, which is terrible, since his job is to attend to the aspirants, but also his record tells the tale. This time, it wasn't that he ignored Team Rocket like his colleagues. No, it's that there is evidence that he worked together with them. As one of the major actors involved in the Mewtwo events, the cloning of a being against all conceivable ethics, and the terrible consequences that this would have, proof of which is the devastated laboratory known today as Pokemon Mansion on the same island. His hands are stained with blood. His major partner, Fuji, tried to make up for the horror by releasing Mew at the end of the world and caring for the mistreated Pokemon in Lavender Town. But what did Blaine do? He locked himself and most of the surviving scientists in his gym, and I better not ask what was going on in there. Years later, the island's volcano would erupt, devastating the city, and who knows if with the help of all those scientists confined in the gym, the event could have been foreseen earlier, leading to a more effective evacuation and reconstruction of the island. Because that's also the job of a leader, to take care of his fellow citizens. And I deserve a break, but until I'm done with all the inspections, I don't think it's going to be possible. At least the next one is my native Johto, a place it's always nice to go back to, but I can't let the nostalgic sense cloud my mind. There is no mercy. At first, I had a very good impression of the leaders. I met really competent and responsible people, like Jasmine, who even being a beginner managed to attend to her duties as a leader and take care of the Ampharos of the lighthouse, or Morty and his commitment to researching the folklore of the region and transmitting the legends and traditions to the new generations so that their legacy continues. With their ups and downs, they all offered a good challenge and were not too absent from their duties unless it was for a compelling reason, or to improve their skills. But as I was leaving, happy to see how my childhood heroes were living up to the hype, hey, are you okay? None other than Whitney, one of the most feared opponents by rookie trainers around the world, throwing a tantrum every time a challenger defeats her. It's not that she cries, there's nothing wrong with that. It's that she goes so far as to lose her mind and insult her opponents. But you know what's funny? She's not the worst. Okay, I can half understand her being annoyed after losing because she's used to crushing Calavas and Pidgeotos with her cow roller, but Claire, that harpy. Dude, what a disappointment. The frightening Dragon Queen who makes even the Elite Four tremble. I really didn't expect her to behave like that when she's defeated. This time, she doesn't just throw a tantrum. No, she totally refuses to accept reality. pulling a new rule out of her sleeve of getting the Dragon's Den Master's blessing for her to give you the badge, which no one has achieved until then, and she knows you haven't either. Avoiding the rules in this way is serious, but the worst thing is that even when you succeed, she doesn't come to her senses, and it's not until the old man mentions Lance that she's over and reluctantly gives you the badge. It's true that she finally calms her dragon rage and apologizes, but don't try to soften my heart. Putting on such a show is not worthy of a trainer of her class. Hoenn time. What do we have around here? A student skipping most of the school hours to be a gym leader? A place full of dangerous corners with no lighting? A workshop full of electrical traps just sitting there? Holy cow. A place full of geysers that send you flying? A room with panels that teleport you? In other words, they disintegrate your body and then put it back together again. God, so far only Winona is okay. What a mess. And I've only seen the facilities. This one in Sutopolis City doesn't seem to be the exception either. It doesn't seem very safe. What happens if the ice I'm on breaks? Oh. But what? What's going on here? Why does this dude keep his fans confined in the basement? Are you okay, miss? They don't seem to understand what's wrong. They may admire their idol a lot, but there's something strange here. And you too, just in case. Well, luckily in Sinnoh I didn't find anything so shady, but there were some details that I didn't like at all. Rumors about strange presences and disappearances in the north of Eterna Forest began to spread, and when I asked Gardenia, she excused herself, saying that she was very busy with the gym. Clearly an excuse, since just mentioning ghosts you could see in her expression the true reason. Speaking of ghosts, I've seen strange, dangerous, silly puzzles, but none as pitiful as Fantina. For God's sake, what does this have to do with the ghost type? Could it be that you've been out showing off around the region and didn't take the time to make a decent gym, doing the first thing that came to mind as a challenge the night before? But come on top of that, she doesn't pay the electricity bill. Oh wait, is this a general blackout in the region? Although I saw things that I didn't like in other people, at that moment it was clear to me which was the most infamous leader in all of Sinnoh. Volkner, from Sunny Shore City, not only rejected duels constantly and capriciously, but also mocked the aspirants. And while he was neglecting his duties, he dedicated himself to remodeling his gym. What did this remodeling consist of? I prefer not to even remember it. I'll only say that he consumed such a massive amount of energy that caused continuous blackouts in all the region. It's not that he neglects his job and doesn't give a damn what happens to the people of his city. It's that he directly paralyzed on several occasions the normal life and economy of the entire region. Please, what's wrong with this dude? It's time for Unova, in which the foolish me believed that I would not encounter negligence. After all, its leaders are famous around the world and are an example to follow for their responsibility, decision-making, and always intervening at the right time. The last thing I expected was to find none of them. They were all out of their gyms. Where have they gone? However, this time something gave me a bad feeling. Then I finally found the trio from Striaton City. Apparently, all the leaders had been summoned to confront the 7 sages who were planning to take over the region. Of course, they were demonstrating their courage and determination to defend the values of the Pokemon trainer, that sacred bond that no one should disgrace. Aha! Right. And then, no, I don't want a cup of tea, so why aren't you there with the rest of the leaders? Actually, I can't deny that they had their reasons for feeling the way they did. Always going together, no one ever took them seriously separately, creating a huge inferiority complex that is not easy to deal with in contrast to the rest of the leaders. It's my job also to try to understand those feelings, but what they did, leaving their fellow leaders alone in such a critical situation, paralyzed by their own emotions. Let's go to Kalos for now. If the leaders of other regions have a reputation for being pioneers, committed, and sadists to their work, these have always had a reputation for being weak and forgettable. But hey, the first impression was not as bad as I expected. They were quite nice, fresh and cool. A scientific photographer of the bug type, a rock climber of the rock type, a skater fighter, and an ice gym teacher or something. It's definitely original. Well, I'm going off on a tangent. The truth is that I liked them more than I expected. I didn't see as many illegalities as other times, but their fame was totally founded. Kalos is known for its fearsome challengers. With levels over the top and weapons such as Mega Evolution, only a few of the leaders managed to give them a minimum of problems. Most of them failed in the basics, being a challenge. But I can't close the whole Pokemon League, so if I have to choose one, it would be the weakest of them all. I really don't want it to sound like I'm traumatized by gym teachers, but his team just doesn't make any sense. It really is the lamest last leader battle ever, and in fact, I consider it the easiest in their own game, which in itself is something. So what? Do we find a replacement for him? He's not that different from the rest of his colleagues, so if I do it with him, I should do the same with the rest of them. He's one of the worst, but I think he deserves a second chance. A flying taxi takes me straight to Galar. If we were talking about the fame of the world's leaders in different fields, fame, in the truest sense of the word, is what defines them here. I had never seen a place where the leaders were mega celebrities at this level. To simply gain access to them, you had to get through massive waves of fans. The truth is that their fame was certainly not unfounded. Many of the leaders here are considered the greatest masters of their elemental type in the world. Some are even world stars above champions from other regions. This is explained by the extensive culture and rites surrounding battles in this region. And as if this were not enough, some of them are very influential personalities in areas outside of combat. Okay, great leaders, you can relax. At some point you will make a mistake and I will be there to take note. Aha! You, come here. Hey, will you please be quiet? Let's go to a quieter place. Explain to me why you have the gym with the shutters down and I had to go through weird passages to get in. Oh yeah, and how come you refuse to use Dynamax when you go to the stadium for the final tournament? Look, I'm sorry, but hello, who are you? Do you want to tell me something? What's wrong, sweetie? Perfect, all in order. And now what do I do? Whom do I choose as the worst?
You clown, look where you're going.
Sorry. God, how rude people are, it's crazy. Hey, that was Avery, of course. The Isle of Armor is also Galar, and he's also technically a gym leader. I mean, he's pretty strong and all, but what a way to treat people. Back home you go. The pleasure of a job well done. With that, I would only need to check the leaders of Paldea to finish my work. Very soon, it will be time for a very deserved break. Who knows if a colleague will want to come with me. The plane is already taking off, but it's not yet time to